But underneath all of that is the Bible. I am unapologetically 100% in favor of it is the Bible. Jesus is the Word. There is no delineation. If the Bible says it, that's what Jesus is, and that's what Jesus believes. That's what this podcast is actually about, is to actually alert people to what is coming and what is our responsibility in the midst of it.
Well, this is coming when, there's all of this wealth, and you hear about it, comes as England is facing rising costs of living, a living crisis, austerity budget cuts, and so on. And then you have those who are asking for reparations for colonialism, and they're wondering, $100 billion, $24 billion here and there, $500 million there. Some people want to be paid back, and members of the public are wondering, why are we suffering when you are, you have all of this vast wealth? Those are legitimate concerns.
Well, I think you're right about reparations in terms of if people want it, though, what they need to do is you always need to go back to the beginning of a supply chain. Where was the beginning of the supply chain? That was in Africa, and when across the entire world, when the slavery was taking place, which was the first nation in the world that abolished slavery? The first nation in the world to abolish it. It was started by William Wilberforce, was the British. In Great Britain, they abolished slavery. 2,000 naval men died on the high seas trying to stop slavery. Why? Because the African kings were rounding up their own people. They had them on cages waiting in the beaches. No one was running into Africa to get them. And I think you're totally right. If reparations need to be paid, we need to go right back to the beginning of that supply chain and say who was rounding up their own people and having them handcuffed in cages. Absolutely. That's where they should start. And maybe, I don't know, the descendants of those families where they died in the high seas trying to stop the slavery, that those families should receive something too, I think, at the same time.
It's an interesting discussion, Hillary. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We'll continue to discuss in the future. So remember the impact of the supply chain crisis on the economy during...
My friends in the Jewish community, we will persist and persist and persist to fight for Israel, to fight for anti-Semitism, and we will not rest till we succeed.
Representative, what is your message to the people here today?
Stay on the street. Stay on the street.
They're on federal property right now. What would you...
Stay on the street. Stay on.
What is your message to ICE agents?
ICE agents, we don't want you in Los Angeles. And we thought you had sense enough with the president to start getting out of Minneapolis. But I guess you have no sense. And you don't understand the power of the people. We are not going away. We don't want you in any of our cities in this country. And we're going to fight you every inch of the way.
What's your message to Donald Trump?
Donald Trump, you are absolutely the most outrageous, the most terrible, the most deplorable human being that I've ever met. You have no compassion for anybody. You have targeted this immigration, this migration, and you want to make MAGA people believe that you're all powerful and that you're going to see to it that they get these people of color out of the country. But they're attacking everybody, Americans too. You see what they're doing up in Minneapolis. And so Donald Trump, we are going to make sure we're going to beat you.
So, what can we do to hurry this up? Because we have fire trucks and ambulances that might need to get through here.
They can come through here.
You're talking about the community, and we're talking about making sure that your neighbors can get access to emergency services.
City buses have been easily passing, so I suspect.
And we're all here. When they come, we'll move it for them, you know? Frankly, you're the one blocking it right now.
Yeah, I heard there was some masked men running around over there abducting people.
We're watching the community because you guys aren't.
You're driving with swapped plates on their cars. Why aren't you ticketing them?
Oh,
They've got swapped plates on their cars. That's not legal in Minnesota.
Thank you. Y'all take care.
I'll put you look for ice next time.
Yeah.
Good talk.
Jacob, he sent us here.
If you've ever wondered how protests happen on the spot, this is exactly how. Without organizers, without the music, without the bullhorns, without all of these people coming together. And right now what they're doing is they're loading their trucks to leave out of here after they finish with the protest. None of the protests that you see that happen immediately after something happens, which is all the time now, wouldn't be possible. What's behind me is a combination of Party for Socialism and Liberation, We have Democrat Socialists of America here as well, and a couple very loose communist organizations like Revolutionary Communists for America. None of the protests that you see are organic. They're well organized, and because they're well organized, that means they're well funded through various campaigns, whether it's foreign influence campaigns or it could be even Democrat campaigns. So this is how it all happened.
Will you vote yes?
I mean, I will vote yes on contempt against them and anybody else as long as Pam Bondi is part of it.
So you vote no on the clip?
I will definitely vote no on any partisan measure.
When you are subpoenaed to testify in court or in Congress, you show up, period. So we must enforce the rule of law here, my colleagues. We must do it. If you act deliberately with sneering, cavalier contempt for the American people and their representatives, we will hold you in contempt.
Well, it's just more of the same. I mean, she's part of the whole, this whole fraud supporting network. She knows all about it. I've been contacting her for years about this fraud. She's never done a single thing about it. And, you know, in her defense, the Republicans haven't done a whole lot either. And so I'm really disappointed in all the elected officials from Minnesota because, you know, I've been running down this middle of the street with my hair on fire going, look at this fraud. And I put the number at $80 to $100 billion in Minnesota alone, going back to 1988. And you're going to find out that I'm right. And see how the number keeps ratcheting up? It was $250 million, then it was $1 billion, then it was $9 billion, now it's $18 billion. And I said, you got to keep going because you have to include all of these city money, county money, state money, federal money, grants, NGOs, all of these things that are part of this fraud. That's where all that money in those suitcases at the airport's coming from. Just stop giving them the money and all those problems go away.
Because it's infinitely broken. We're greedy, we're crooked as a dog's leg, as we used to say in East Tennessee. You know, when you have a congressman making 600-700% return day in, day out, they don't need to be here in Washington, D.C. They need to be up on Wall Street advising all those big advisors, maybe the Fed, how to invest the money. Because obviously, look, we're in on meetings that go on behind the scenes. In the latest legislation, you know, I proposed a bill, just said no stock trading. Do like I do. Have my buddy Tommy Siler manage my $11,000 portfolio, which is a mutual fund. Put everything in a dadgum mutual fund. But what do they want to do? No. Here's the latest idea they have, and it's the one that's capturing all the press right now, is that they're going to, if you've got stock, say you have $100 million, which is not unusual up here. There's some that do. In the stock market, they get to keep it, but they can't buy any more after that. It's sort of the drawbridge approach. And then what's going to happen? The House will pass something, the Senate will pass something different, and they'll all be out drinking wine at Martha's Vineyard the next weekend laughing at us because it just isn't going to work. This town is crooked. Both parties are in on it, and it's a very small club. And guess what? America, you're not in on it.
It's
All right, Monday night, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing good. As always, be blessed in the mighty name of Jesus. Let me say, everybody in the chat, TJT1 is on. Big Jim Go Blue is on. Robin Aroni is on. Those Jesus people is on. Skunk 71 is on. Granite 2468 is on. JD Joy 25 is on. General Plowman is on. Linesmanson is on. Mr. Cool Dude is on. Kansas Law Dog is on. Perry Richard is on. Let me see here. Serene Pickle is on. USA Abigail is on. Let me see. Scrolling down. Mike Griffith is on. K4. VMS is on. Conservative Warrior 65 is on. Andre K24 is on. Sexy Pony's on. Keeper 1376 is on. Arcadia Angel is on. Captain Cliff is on. Robin Aroni is on. Let me see here. Scrolling down. Slylent is on. Kansas Law Dog is on. Nate Dad 1 is on. Let me see here. Veronica 18201 is on. Graffiti Bug is on. K4 VMS is on. Those Jesus people is on. Sheila K is on. Scrolling down. Release the Hog is on. The great T1AU is on. Let me see. Milwaukee James is on. Order in the Court is on. N. Johns 127 is on. Mark 1069 is on. Let me see here. A couple I haven't seen yet. There's one. Stephen Toms is on. Leon Fish Puppy is on. Let me grab a couple more, then we're going to hop right to it here. Let's see. Mobetta 01 is on. Jim Brody is on. Petey Frank is on. And Thunderbolt is on. Love you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. We're going to hop right to it here. Hey, this is for our friend in the chat and also Foundation Church every weeker, which I love, Mike Griffith. Mike Griffith video. Mike Griffith sent this to me. We talked about it on Sunday, Mike. I got it. Put it right here at number one on the podcast tonight. I just want to cover a couple things here with, it's not a couple things. It's several things with ICE. And then I'm going to do a brief thing on Billie Eilish, although it's already been beat the crap out of. It's already, been 1 million videos about it and where she lives and everything else. We're going to have Megyn Kelly do our version of it. But anyway, so let's hop right into ICE here for a couple minutes. Jerry is a disabled vet, was assaulted on the streets of Portland. Portland cops aren't doing anything about it. But anyway, Mike Griffith video. Play for me.
Did they just chase Jerry out? Oh shit, Jerry! Oh shit!
You already fucked around with my goddamn fucking...
All right, there you go. And let's go right to the next one. Haley Ground Zero video. Here is how the cops responded to it. Play it for me.
Do you guys know why Mike wasn't arrested when he pushed that elderly man over in his wheelchair?
Yeah, I mean, we watched the video, and I don't think we can make a
He charged right at him.
I don't think we can make like a good faith arrest on it right now.
When he charged directly at this old man and pushed him over.
So, and that's kind of the thing. We watched some videos, and I think we're just going to disagree if that's how you're going to characterize it. But we watched several videos from several angles, and just at least at this moment, we can't make like a good faith arrest on anybody right now. That might change. We might get some more video tomorrow or tonight, and we can always make an arrest at a later date. But just as of right now, dealing with like the situation, like taking anybody away right now, I don't think
he's a primary agitator out here. He's a primary agitator out here every night.
Again, like if that's how you're going to characterize it, like we're probably just going to disagree.
So the two mischaracterizations that the cop is saying from the it's at PD Maga Man. That's the guy who was approaching the cops there. That's his Twitter handle. So the cop's saying that Maga Man there is mischaracterizing two different aspects. Number one, I'll do it in descending order. Spider Mike, that's the giant fat turd that knocked over the disabled American vet, Jerry. He goes maybe by Captain Jerry, also some other names. But anyway, I don't want to misname him. But anyway, so the cop says that Spider Mike, that it's a mischaracterization to say that Spider Mike is a regular instigator on the streets. How did he get his name? He is known as Antifa member and agitator Spider Mike. Antifa Spider Mike. That's his name. Like Antifa Kyle. This guy is Spider Mike. So he is on so many Antifa videos, stirring up so much trouble that everybody knows who he is. And this cop, and by the way, if a cop talks like this, you're already in big trouble. Okay? I mean, listen, all the gloves need to come off, half measures and talk, credit gladiator. That all needs to stop. And effeminate cops are not what we need. But that's what they want in Portland. So when the cop talks like this, well, we're just going to have to disagree. We're just going to have to agree to disagree on that one, because if that's how you're going to do, if that's how you're going to perceive it, that's not how I'm going to perceive it. Then if the cop talks like that, it's over. All right, it's over. So we all watched the video, right? And then, of course, the second alleged mischaracterization is that you do not have a clear felonious battery of a handicapped person. Would anybody say that outside of the guy who's talking like this on this side of the road? I mean, would anybody else characterize an incident that way? I certainly didn't see it that way. I saw Spider Mike grab was Jerry like trying to run him over? I don't think so, in a wheelchair. And by the way, the witness right before that said that they just kick Jerry out. So he was just kicked out of the scene. So he's trying to leave the scene. All anybody has to do is step out of the way. Would everybody agree? But I guess maybe in Antifa circles, you never step out of the way of moving vehicles. But anyway, so he doesn't step out of the way. Instead, stops the wheelchair, pushes him over, and then mean mugs him. He's on top of him, basically going, yeah. And he's screaming at the unconscious man on the ground who ended up having to be attended to by emergency medical care. I don't know if he was he had to be transported. But anyway, I saw him on the ground. He's unconscious. So he's being taunted by the man who knocked him out of his own wheelchair and knocked him unconscious on the asphalt. Is that not clear evidence that you are the primary aggressor? That's a law enforcement term whenever you go to assess who's at fault for a domestic battery. Who was the primary aggressor? And you do that, of course, you can do that for any fight or any battery situation. Some people call these assaults, some of them call it, in the state of Florida, an actual physical assault is a battery. An assault in the state of Florida is a threat with a well-founded ability to carry out the threat. Like I'm running at you, my fist clenched, I'm throwing punches, but I don't land. That's an assault. This right here is a felonious battery of a handicapped person. How can anybody say, now why would this cop or the cops in Portland, and he's not doing this on his own, of course, it's not that street level guy talking like this. He's not making that decision on his own. That's coming from above because they won't dare arrest Antifa Spider Mike. Because that's who, number one, they are on Antifa's side because they're all leftist. The chief of police in Portland is a leftist. The mayor's leftist. We just played it the other night. She's the 40-year-old who lived with her mommy until she was 40, has still never had a job in her life, now lives in her own apartment because she's mayor with her boyfriend and has a daughter, sadly, that she actually has a daughter, but that means she's going to produce another one like herself. And neither one of them work either. And the parents pay her rent. That's the mayor of the city. Oh, that's Seattle, not Portland. But anyway, and I don't remember who the mayor of Portland is anymore. It used to be like Wheeler or something. But anyway, so that's the deal. So I mean, that's why they didn't make the arrest, is because they don't. Number one, they're on Antifa's side, but number two, they don't want to take Antifa off because they get Antifa votes. That's why. It's just such a disgusting situation. All right, let's go to the next one. Andy, no video. But this is Portland, Oregon. This is the attack on the ICE facility, also in Portland. Play for me. Let me show you the living embodiment of the American male and American masculinity running the city of Portland. There he is. I mean, how many of you think he's gay? I mean, maybe he's not. But he looked gay. Yeah, I told you, gloves are off. I mean, when you're like, Tom, when have the gloves ever been on with you? I don't know. Maybe they've never been on for me, but they never. Maybe I've just pushed the gloves further away. I don't have any idea. But anyway, so that just again, nothing ever changes. The left does what it always does. And they're wretched, horrible, disgusting people knocking over American military veterans in the street, in their wheelchairs, attacking ICE facilities. All right, let's go to the next one. Brandon Straka video, breaking. Fox News says it has the receipt over $250 million allegedly funneled through dark money groups to pay for anti-ICE protests nationwide. Play for me.
We continue to expose the web of collaborators driving the Democrats to the brink of insurrection against a duly elected president. From the socialist communist organizations spearheading street activism, to entertainers reciting their memorized talking points, to the activists masquerading as journalists, And of course, to the politicians stoking the resistance, same politicians who hope to ride the wave to abolish ICE altogether. This is a sophisticated operation. It's designed not only to drive Democrat turnout in the midterms, but to smash capitalism, the rule of law, and American sovereignty. And who's paying the bill for all this agitation? Everybody wants to know. Well, one individual who's getting a lot of attention is a multimillionaire named Neville Roy Singham. He subsidizes the PSL, the Party for Socialism and Liberation we told you about last night, and their activism that's happening on the streets of Minneapolis and probably elsewhere. Now, according to reports and congressional probes, PSL and another group of agitators called the People's Forum are largely subsidized by Singham. But he's largely untouchable because the rich guy moved to China years ago. And from there, and I guess elsewhere, he's funneled more than $250 million to dark money organizations here in the United States.
So would anybody like to explain to me how that's not treason? If you receive money from a foreign entity, this is Neville Roy Singham, who lives in China. He has at least two dark money leftist organizations that are paying for a lot of these riots. That's all they are. They're not demonstrations. We all know they're riots. They're not only protests and riots, they are active aggression and active sedition against federal law enforcement. And on an everyday basis, the left cried and cried and cried about 1/6. They still go out there and they sing their stupid Democratic Party songs on the Capitol steps about 1/6, 2021, 5 years ago. And I don't have time to get into that, but that certainly wasn't an insurrection. But anyway, and by the way, no, there was no dark money involved in that. None whatsoever. But here, not only are you and I paying for this, because a lot of it, and I won't go into my NGO dissertation, but I mean, a lot of it is because to this day, and even through the big, beautiful bill, lots of NGOs are still being fully financed. And that money ends up trickling from one organization to the next into Democratic Party coffers, Democratic Party campaigns, and Democratic Party riots, demonstrations, and absolute sedition against federal law enforcement, i.e. ICE. But how is this not treason? If you have foreign dark money attempting to start a color revolution, which, by the way, is what Jake Sullivan and Victoria Nuland did back in 2014 in Ukraine, how is this not treason? And how much longer are we going to just do nothing? I mean, here's the thing. Where can I? And I think Aaron's a little sickies tonight. I don't want to bother him too much. But I mean, I'm not going to yell too much at Aaron. Maybe Brent. I may just yell at Brent. But I'm going to just pick on Brent. But I mean, I'm just curious. Where's the FBI in this? Why is Laura Ingraham doing it? Where's Kash Patel? I mean, is he flying to his girlfriend's concert again? Is that what's happening? I'm just curious. Is that what we're doing? Is he suing another conservative media pundit because they called his girlfriend an Israeli honeypot? I mean, is that what he's doing? I mean, because I'm just curious about when is this ever going to be solved? Because you have all this. You're talking about $250 million, $250 million coming from a foreign entity in our number one geopolitical threat in China and going directly into the coffers of these various organizations. They're all little tiny organizations. If you saw the pregame, David Cate put out that all these are well financed. They show up. They show up in buses. They show up in vans. They all have the same clothes on. They have pre-made signs. Somebody has to be. And listen, as dorky as the signs are, as dorky as the banners are, that stuff is not free. It may be cheap, but it's not free. So if you're dealing with hundreds of different demonstrations, protests, riots, and insurrections, then it would be obviously hundreds of millions of dollars. Well, this is coming from a foreign source, from a man that ran from the United States and is hiding in China, but is still able to send money in. Can somebody explain to me where the FBI is? I'm just curious. Where are they? Don't we have something called the NSA, called the National Security Administration? Aaron, would that mean, you don't have to talk too much, you can just grunt. Wouldn't national security mean secure the nation?
You'd think.
Okay, I mean, call me crazy. But let's give you some other examples of Democrats. All right, I've got a whole stack of things in Democrats. But I'm mixing in Democrats with ICE right now. So Don Keith video, Long Beach, California mayor, Riglio, of course, Martinez, seditiously calls on gangs. That's the guy you voted for mayor, right? He looks like, Uncle Creepy who lives next door. Seditiously calls on gangs to go to war with ICE. Oh, that's got to be hyperbolic. Well, you judge. Play it for me.
My name is Rogelio Martinez. I am calling all 55 gangs in my beautiful city. I expect a gang leader from every gang, all 55 gangs, and I'm not going to name them by name. I'm calling the Latino gangs. I'm calling the Cambodian gangs. I'm calling the Filipino gangs. I'm calling the black gangs. I'm calling the Pacific Islander gangs. I'm calling all gang leaders to meet me right here, Long Beach City Hall, this coming Monday. Why Monday? Specifically, I need you to be here to meet me in person to take back this city.
There you go. I mean, that's what it means to be a Democrat in 2026. Dangerous, absolutely dangerous, violent human beings. That's what it means to be a Democrat in 2026. Look at this video, Johnny MAGA video. Langston Hughes High School outside of Atlanta holds an ICE walkout. This is an ICE walkout where students launch their taxpayer purchased laptops and damaged property. Play it for me.
I'm gonna slide a black truck to the windows. They don't let it rip. Yeah, I need me a freak on the police. They don't set the beat. Oh, I get down and dirty. It don't matter. Fuck you in the whip. Oh, my mama did this tweaking. If she thinks she had my sons. When we get back to the crib, I'm gonna nut all on her buns. I'm gonna beat the little hoe down. Yeah, she better not try to.
Those some citizens who really care about illegal immigrants right there. No, that's what they all marched out for. This happening all over the country, by the way. Not that kids would ever manipulate a situation to get out of class or anything. But the Democrats are all saying, "Oh, these kids are so full of virtues." They launched. Listen, they're all out there protesting ICE. Every single one of them is a black American, and one black American launches his laptop at the head of another black American. I mean, I would love for somebody to explain to me, A, how any of these kids are virtuous, and then explain to me how this isn't anything but anarchy. Whether there's absolutely no meaning behind any of it whatsoever, which, by the way, is the living embodiment of a color revolution, which is exactly what's his name again? Neville Roy Singham, who's sending all the money in for all these protests, wants a color revolution. All right, at Chicago One Ray video, at Governor Ron DeSantis needs to see this because this is the Democratic mayor of Miami. Play for me.
Higgins, nearly 7% of Florida is undocumented, according to Pew. In Miami, the police cooperate with ICE. But you, during your campaign, were very critical of that decision to cooperate. Can you change the policy without the governor being on board?
The governor issued a requirement that local municipalities cooperate with ICE. And many municipalities, including the city of Miami, before I became mayor, signed that agreement. It is very difficult to unwind. It would take a vote of our city commission to do so. So obviously, as mayor, I intend to comply with the law. And so what we have done in our 1,500-person police department is we have trained 3 individuals, should ICE call, that are able to answer that call and work with them. Obviously, we're going to comply with the law, but we are not going to help beyond that.
So definitely Ron DeSantis needs to make sure that she is complying with the law. The state attorney general needs to make sure that she is complying with Florida state law, which is to be fully cooperative with ICE, which she doesn't sound like she's going to be because they have a 1,500 member police department. It's Miami Metro-Dade Police Department. Not to mention, it's not just Miami Metro-Dade, because that may just be Miami City Police Department, because Miami Metro-Dade are two separate departments. They have Miami Police Department, which is simply the inside of the city of Miami, which may be the 1,500 police member force, or maybe Metro-Dade, not sure. But anyway, she has a 1,500 member police department, and she has assigned, get this, Aaron, 3 people to cooperate with ICE. Oh. So if ICE calls, out of the 1,500 people that that are officers at her police department, 3 are going to handle any ICE calls. And here's the problem. How many of us know that, of course, Dade County is very much infiltrated with illegal migrants? Of course, the whole state of Florida is. But the whole state of Florida has been ordered to be, by Ron DeSantis, cooperative with ICE. Certainly does not sound like the mayor. And by the way, you can just watch for Miami to precipitously careen down. I was going to say go downhill. No, careen downhill, because it's had a Republican mayor for many, many years. But now it's back to having a Democratic mayor. And just watch for crime to now skyrocket through the roof, homelessness through the roof, poo-poo on the streets, and all the businesses leaving Miami for whatever red county they can find. Just watch. Red county or what red city they can find. Just watch. So here you have the Democratic mayor of Miami saying, well, we'll comply with the law, but, we're only going to, set aside 3 officers out of 1,500 to deal with ICE. Well, let's shift now. Let's go up to Chicago. Eric Doherty video. Here's the Chicago mayor on ICE. Play it for me.
The ICE unnoticed executive order is a step towards justice. This executive order will make Chicago the first city in the country to set the groundwork to prosecute ICE and Border Patrol agents for criminal misconduct. Because we need to send a clear message. If the federal government will not hold these rogue actors accountable, then Chicago will do everything in our power to bring these agents to justice. Yes. As part of this order, our police department will document ICE and Border Patrol activity and attempt to identify officers on the scene. This evidence will then be preserved and, at the direction of my office, will be referred to the state's attorney's office for potential prosecution. The Trump administration has made it clear that they intend to return to our city in force in the coming spring. This order is a step towards making sure that Chicago is prepared. We will continue to learn from and work with other cities across the country as we all confront this moment. As Dr. King predicted more than 60 years ago, Chicago can serve as a model of nonviolent resistance that has the power to arouse the conscience of the nation. And so today, we see a full manifestation of the consciousness of our nation coming to life by way of the greatest city in the world, the city of Chicago.
All right, so stealing from Aaron, how are you as a rogue city going to then regulate or prosecute a rogue agency? You yourself are a sanctuary city. You don't obey federal law. By the way, how does anybody get away with that? The only reason why they get away with it, I'll just give you an example in case I don't get to it tonight, is who's holding up the SAVE Act? The SAVE Act, which requires proof of citizenship and ID to vote. That's a horrible thing, right? There has to be more attached. No, it requires proof of citizenship and ID to vote. What else does it entail? Proof of ID, proof of citizenship, and ID to vote. What else does it entail? Nothing. That's it. That's the SAVE Act. Who's holding that up? Does anybody know? Mitch McConnell. Well, why exactly would that be? Because he is a Democrat. And it gets so simplistic because it gets irritating and it gets overly superficial. Democrat, Republican. No, he's a globalist, leftist, bourgeois elitist. He is a mark of the beast, future wearer if he lives that long. That's who he is. He's a globalist, leftist, bourgeois elitist who wants to leverage you out of the world commerce system and leverage you into compliance. That's who he is. It doesn't matter whether he's got a few conservative justices confirmed to give himself bona fides to be elected over and over again. You'd have to occasionally do something conservative to be elected over and over again, right? You'd have to occasionally say you're pro-life, even though you have never done, after being in the Senate for 50 years, you've never done a freaking thing to overturn Roe v. Wade. And then a centrist kind of slash Pro-choicer comes in and does it for you, Donald J. Trump. So, I mean, that just shows you why nothing ever gets done. Nothing gets done because they're not real. They're not our representatives. I mean, I'm talking about, statistically speaking, 100% of them. 100% of them. And you'll be like, well, what about people like Thomas Massie? Thomas Massie is, and listen, I love Thomas Massie. If I was living in Kentucky, I'd vote for Thomas Massie, even though him and Trump hate each other. But the thing is, Thomas Massie does some caving, okay? In strategic moments, he does, okay? I mean, and you know, I don't know. Sometimes I just don't trust any of them. But the thing, and I'm not saying to put your trust in men, but the thing is, we have to have people like you and I. They have to. That's who has to be our representatives, and we're going to have to risk not being reelected. We're going to have to risk pissing off moderate Republicans. And by the way, it's just like what we all discovered during COVID. I mean, most Christians aren't real. Yeah. They're just not. They're not real. They don't know anything about the Bible. They don't understand that you have to turn from your sin to be a Christian. They don't understand that you have to acknowledge that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life, and no man cometh unto the Father but by me, and that he's the only way, and that it's not being Christ-like to acknowledge that, you know what, I just believe that Jews have a relationship with God too. No, they don't. I just believe that, that everybody, has a relationship with God. Sometimes you just don't know, Jesus. And, I just believe that, Muslims, they have a connection with God. No, you're not a Christian. I just believe that homosexuals can be saved too if they turn from the homosexuality, but you never say that. So you're not really a Christian. I mean, you want to be a Christian on your own terms. Again, that's a Pharisaic sort of cultism. But listen, most people just are not real. And that's why nothing gets done. Here you have a rogue mayor saying that he's going to prosecute rogue ICE agents when he himself violates federal law every day of his life. They completely dismiss ICE detainers. All of these do, whether it's the mayor of Boston, the mayor of Chicago, the mayors of Minneapolis and St. Paul, they blow off ICE detainers. I'm not talking about ICE detainers for retail theft. They blow off ICE detainers for people who have raped children, who have sodomized little kids. They just let them out on the streets. You're like, Tom, it's not that way. Look it up. They did it in Boston. They did it in Minneapolis. They let out people who rape kids and they go out and rape kids again. And there's an ICE detainer on them. And now those people who do that are going to then prosecute a quote unquote rogue ICE agent for doing what? And all the Democrats stand around. And of course none of us watched it, but we had to watch the videos of the Grammys last night of all the horrific things that were said last night. And they all just sit there and they shake their heads to stuff that they never live up to, and not only do they not live up to it, they don't live under it. You have Billie Eilish saying F ICE and nobody can be illegal on stolen land. First of all, what the crap does that even freaking mean? And she lives on Indian grounds herself. Oh, I'm gonna play the video. It's great. It's a great takedown by Megyn Kelly. But she lives on Indian grounds, stolen Indian ground. Like nobody can claim that I live on Indian grounds because nobody knows where I live. I mean, as far as whether it's Indian ground or not, nobody can assign it a tribal assessment. Nobody can. But hers is. It's actually historic Indian ground, and she called in a stalker on her property. But I thought nobody could be illegal on stolen ground. You literally live on stolen ground. And you called in somebody for being illegal on stolen ground. And then you say on national television and on national media, national social media, that nobody can be illegal on stolen ground when you called in somebody for being illegal on your stolen ground. That's how ridiculous these people are. I'm going to prosecute rogue agents as a rogue agent myself. That's Brandon Johnson, who breaks the law every day of his life. All right, Eric Doherty video, it's official. Nearly $1 billion. Okay, now it's up to $1 billion. In bulk cash, it was $350 million. Now it's $1 billion in bulk cash got funneled through. Let's see. It's gone up from 350 million per year to 500 million in the last 2 years, on average, because nearly $1 billion in bulk cash got funneled through the Minneapolis airport over 2 years directly to Somalia. Play for me.
Now to a Saturday in America investigation. Our team has been talking to DHS officials all week, and we have learned that $700 million in cash was flown out of Minneapolis by Somali couriers in the past 2 years. That's roughly $350 million a year for 2024 and 2025. Now, to put that into perspective, that number is 10 to 1 compared to bigger airports like JFK and DFW. And we are told that they were about 3 to 4 million a year, quite a difference. But it's not just Minnesota. It's also happening in Columbus, Ohio, where officials tell us that since 2023, $136 million in bulk cash was flown from Columbus to Somalia. And now we're learning more about how the money got from Columbus to Somalia. First, bulk cash and luggage flies out of John Glenn Columbus International Airport. Then luggage lands in either Minneapolis or Atlanta before it is sent overseas. Meanwhile, these DHS sources told Saturday in America that Seattle is also seeing bulk cash transfers, although we learned it is significantly less than Minnesota and then Ohio. Now, we should note that those are the states with the largest Somali populations in the country: Minnesota, Ohio, and Washington. And the acting TSA administrator spoke on Capitol Hill explaining how they uncovered all of this.
TSA did indeed report these incidents as it came across the checkpoint, because bulk cash shows up as a mass on the X-ray, and so our officers have to resolve what they can't identify on the X-ray machine. And through the course of their normal day-to-day duties, they reported that to our law enforcement partners in compliance with their standard operating procedures. I know there's an ongoing investigation with our law enforcement partners. We are part of that.
Well, correction, the number didn't go up. It was still $350 million per year. But the new information was coming from, I just want to give credit where credit is due, Brent's favorite town. he's native Ohioan, but he certainly does not like Columbus.
Hate to claim it.
He hates to claim that Columbus actually resides in Ohio. Right. But anyway, so get this now. I just want to think about this. Again, what does Minnesota got? Like 8 million people living in it?
Yeah, it's about that, yeah.
Something like, yeah, depending on who you hear it from. But anyway, so we'll just say 8 million people living in it. New York has 20 million, okay, just under 20 million. 19 million people living in it. Out of JFK, $3 million went to Somalia last year. 3 million, 3.4 million. 350 million went to Somalia out of Minneapolis Airport. 136 million out of Columbus Airport. Anybody ever even flown into Columbus? And I know what Brent's thinking right now is, why would anybody ever fly into Columbus? But I'm just saying, so you have Columbus, Ohio, that's
even less. It's 5.8 million.
Only 5 million, just under 6 million people live in Minnesota. And they sent out $350 million out of one of their airports, their biggest one, but out of one of their airports, directly to Somalia, $350 million. JFK sent 3.4 million. Dallas, about the same. From Dallas, about the same. Do you realize the difference, the size difference? I mean, New York alone, around JFK, is 9 million. New York City is almost, well, it's not. It's 40% larger than the state of Minnesota. It's 30 to 40% larger. The city of New York. And out of that major international, obviously, one of their, you have LaGuardia, you got JFK, but out of JFK was 3.4 million went to Somalia. About the same out of Dallas. And one other major airport that I've heard named before. But 350 million out of the Somalian hub of Minneapolis and the Somalian hub of Columbus. And again, nobody does a thing about it. Nobody. This was primarily under the Biden administration. I can guarantee you it will now slow down, because many of the Somalians, just like the murders are going down, the robberies are going down, the rapes are going down, all felonious crimes are going down, the prices are going down. Everything's going down because Donald Trump is deporting all these people. And by the way, Aaron brought up a very valid point when we showed in the pregame, and it's a point all of you already know. But when you have Maxine Waters in the pregame just squawking and balking and squawking on the steps of Capitol Hill, Trump is the most she said outrageous, but it made no sense. Outrageous man I've ever known. You know, the most deplorable person I've ever known. Why? Because he's deporting people. So he's deported, like I said, about 300,000 people. Hussein Obama gave Tom Homan a Presidential Medal of Freedom for deporting 900,000 in 1 year. Donald Trump, about 300,000 in 1 year. Now, there's many self-deportations also, and it's a little over 300,000, but that's it. And some people have it at much less, by the way. They have it at 200,000. Depends on who you talk to, but I'll just go, with the 300,000. So imagine being that type of human being. See, like you and I, we cannot make cognitive sense of that. You and I cannot comprehend it. We just cannot comprehend it because it's not like you and I right out out of Ezekiel chapter 8. No one can comprehend what goes on under the sun, despite all his efforts to search it out. Man cannot discover its meaning. It's not like we can't comprehend and God's thoughts and his ways are above ours. Isaiah 55:8-9. I get that. We can't comprehend God. But you also cannot comprehend the galactic levels of just of abject idiocy, asinine AI, asinine idiocy coming out of the mouth of Maxine Waters and being somebody who is absolutely devoid of all integrity, where you said nothing about deportations under Hussein Obama because you know the deportations, number one, you know that that's correct. You are willing to go against what's correct for the sake of political party, which is the absolute essence of being a political acolyte, i.e. somebody who supports Stalin no matter what he does, Hitler no matter what he does, Mao Zedong no matter what he does, Pol Pot no matter what he does. It's not us who support Trump no matter what he does. It's you support your party no matter what your party does. If again, Maxine Waters, what's the number one cause of death in your own black community? Your party's abortions, 400,000 per year. You support it because your party supports it. You're just like the kid in high school or middle school who supports no matter what their friend does, they'll do. And everybody says, they're against peer pressure. You shouldn't do what your friends tell you to do. You are that. They're just repulsive human beings, absolutely repulsive human beings. All right, let's go next. Speak of this, let's switch countries. Same problem, different country. Let's go to Spain. Michael McCarthy video. This is treason, just like all the treasonous things that I've just shown you. This is treason by the Spanish government. Play for me.
See these queues here. This wasn't voted on by the Spanish people. 500,000 illegal migrants granted residency in Spain. 500,000 who are most likely going to bring over their families, and the Spanish people didn't get a choice in it. Simply put, if a government is doing that, it is treason. There's no other way. 500,000 undocumented migrants. Look at the queues.
How many of you voted for open borders, Aaron?
No.
Brett?
Nope.
Okay, I just got 566 people that are watching right now, primarily on Rumble. Did you vote for open borders? We never did, but we got all those years, by the way, under the Bush administration, under the Obama administration, under the Biden administration, under the Clinton administration, we got open borders. We never voted for that. And just, I want everybody, Aaron and everybody, let's calculate. Calculate the number of women and white people. Because they just let in 500,000 of these people from African countries. Show me anybody that's under military age. Let's span the crowd whenever it gets close enough. I want you to point out women, white people, and anybody under the age, under military service age. Anybody? Weird, isn't it? It's almost like dark forces are invading countries using immigration, and nobody's voting for it. And what the saddest thing about it is all the people standing around not saying anything because what will they be called? A racist, because they make sure that they invade your country via immigration with people of color. So then you can't say a word. Now you and I will. Because is this going to advance? I'm just curious. Are all these guys right here, are they going to advance Spanish culture? I mean, are they going to advance Spanish culture? Now, the average IQ in that line is somewhere between 60 and 80. That's just a proven fact. You're like, that's racist. It's not racist. Coming from those African countries, that is the average IQ. We've run it. It's got nothing to do with race. You can be high IQ if you want in any race, but they're not. That's just the way it is. You don't like it? Fine. Check. I mean, Aaron's run it for me before. Check the average IQ in Somalia. Go ahead. Check it. Check it. I believe it's 68.
Yeah.
Which qualifies an American for mental retardation. That's the average IQ. That's the average IQ. That's a lot of times these people, they're running around and they're operating as a 5-year-old. They don't even know that they're committing crimes. They still need to be held accountable, but they don't even know, like, to the sense you and I would know we were shoplifting. They don't even know because they're petulant little children. So I just want to this is exactly what's happened to us too. Donald Trump's put a stop to it. But now all these people that have been let in like this need to now be evacuated out of the country. Mass deportations, which he's trying to do, but is being obstructed by mass foreign money infiltration and by Democratic Party collaborations. That's exactly what's happening. Because Democrats are treasonous. They're just disgusting, reprehensible people. Why in the world would you ever be standing outside of an ICE operation blowing your weenie whistle when they're trying to deport a child sodomizer, which has already been proven that they've done? And then once you find out that you are actually trying to halt the deportation of a child sodomizer, do you ever apologize? No, you just go to the next one. And the next one could be a mass child rapist. It could be a murderer. It could be a person who committed DUI manslaughter on an American citizen. You don't care because the Democratic Party tells you to do it. And you're so vacuous of meaning in life that you just lurch for whatever you'll find that maybe will give your life meaning. Just like the Democrats did when they all put their 2021, 2020, 2021, 2022 swastikas on their face called a COVID mask. Anything so I can actually finally feel important. I'm a paramedic. I'm saving lives. Now, of course, they're not paramedics, but they're wearing a mask, so they feel like they're saving lives. So instead of actually going to paramedic school and actually learning how to do something to save lives, they'll just put a mask on. They'll get their government money, their government Xanax, living in their mommy's basement, cooking up their Hot Pockets, putting their mask on and saying, I'm just the same as any paramedic. I'm the same as any doctor. I'm out here saving lives. Because they have pathetic, meaningless lives. All right, let's change subjects. Sort of. No, we're not changing subjects. It's still on ice. Still on ice. One last thing on ice. Vince Langman video. This is the Megyn Kelly takedown of Billie Eilish. Play it for me.
Billie Eilish, who might be the most depressed person in America. I mean, all of her music is like... She shows up, and she's ready to talk about ICE with her disgusting outfit. Truly, she was one of the worst dressed. But here she was with a message, just like her fellow artists for ICE in SOT 8.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just really hard to know what to say and what to do right now. And I feel really hopeful in this room, and I feel like we just need to keep fighting and speaking up and protesting, and our voices really do matter, and the people matter. And
you literally look like the human embodiment of a domino, which is a great game, but it wouldn't really be my motivation for the Grammys. I mean, what? Okay. She, like everybody else who got up there to lecture us, has got more money than God. Her property records reveal she paid $14 million for her LA estate back in 2023. Yeah, and the property spans, Jesse, nearly 4 acres on an oak tree-studded hillside. Gated, of course, accessed via a very long, sinuously winding driveway. No part of the house itself is visible from the street, but it's quite large. 6 bedrooms, 7 baths, nearly 7,000 square feet. It's located on the ancestral, unceded land of the Tongva people. Wait a minute, Billy. It's on ancestral land. The County of Los Angeles formally recognizes that it occupies land originally and still inhabited and cared for by the Tongva, along with other indigenous groups. She has a net worth of well over $50 million, of course. And Billy is just fine with her 24/7 security team and her gates and her 4 acres outside of LA. But the rest of us need to live ungated, unprotected, without all the acreage, and just deal with the murderous, raping illegals that she wants sicked on us, or we're bad people.
I mean, it is that way. We call it law enforcement fruit of the poisonous tree. So if you're going to say nobody can be illegal on stolen land, okay, so that is your tree. So now you have to live by that. If you don't live by that, then it's a poisonous tree. What does that mean? It means something along the lines of this. If I do an illegal search, if I search somebody's car illegally, and I get the biggest cocaine bust in history, whatever it is, it doesn't matter how big the cocaine bust is. It doesn't matter that it was the living embodiment, modern day Al Capone, Tony Montana. It doesn't matter. It's fruit of the poisonous tree because I didn't get permission to search or I didn't have probable cause to search. Whatever it is, it's all what's called then suppressed because it is fruit of the poisonous tree. So if your tree is you cannot be illegal on stolen land, she is living on the ancestral grounds of the Tongva tribe. And by the way, this is not just what once was Tongva tribe land. It's hard to say that. It's not just what once was their land. It is currently maintained by them where she lives. Now, they of course aren't allowed on her piece.
Right.
Because her piece is fully gated with 24/7 armed security. You don't believe in that, chick. So now this makes it fruit of the poisonous tree. Because you are now violating your rules. Your rules say nobody gets armed security. Everybody's welcome everywhere because there is nobody illegal on stolen ground. And here's the thing. I know where Brett lives. I know where Aaron lives. I know where I live. They know where I live. We know where all each other lives. And nobody can say we're living on Seminole ground. I don't even know what any other tribes are in the state of Florida. Whatever. Nobody can say anything because nobody knows. You, on the other hand, are actually living on maintenance Tongva tribe grounds. You are the biggest worthless piece of crap hypocrite ever. And everybody all around her sits there and applauds her galactic level hypocrisy. Truly unbelievable. I mean, it really is. She's worth $50 million. She lives on a $14 million mansion, 4-acre, $14 million mansion, 24/7 security. A gate, so I'm sure she voted for the wall because she has one. You see what I'm saying? It's truly unbelievable. And I know this is all things that get said all the time from these hypocrites. I get it. But it's the great thing that thank God we have Rumble. Thank God we have Elon's Twitter because, I don't even know. I mean, Aaron, you can back me up or not back me up. Seriously, you can say, no, I'm wrong. But like YouTube is a great app. I hate to say it. It is a great app. It's techno perfect. It really is great. I hate them. Right. Because they banned me for life. They banned the church for life. I'm back on now, but because we create other accounts and stuff. But anyway, or not other accounts, other account. And then they did actually let us get all our old videos back. When they were scared. But some reason, we still can't ever get any traction there. But I can't on Twitter either, by the way. But anyway, Facebook is like turning trash. Like you click on a video there and it sends you a muted video and you have to hit play again. It seems like it's just getting trashier and trashier. I'm thankful for social media, but not those ridiculously stupid platforms that don't allow you to speak. And I Facebook probably stays in business because of Instagram, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, because it's an absolutely worthless app. But I digress. So I'm thankful that the hypocrisy now gets exposed and that we are all understanding who these people are. And people can call it tribal. They can call it being polarized. I want to be polarized. I don't have anything in common with these people. Don't be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common, or what fellowship can light have with darkness? Come out from among them and be separate, says the Lord. 2 Corinthians 6:14 and 6:17. Just come out from among them and be separate. I want to be polarized. I have nothing in common with somebody who claims that I can never have security. I can't have armed security. I can't have a wall. That my country is stolen land and that I can't call anybody illegal on it because it's stolen land, yet she had somebody come on her property or threaten to come on her property that she deemed to be a stalker, probably was. But again, even if it's a stalker, he's not illegal. Why? Because she's living on stolen land. So why'd she call 911? Nobody's illegal. She just gotten her on her car. And why has she not made a call to the chief of the Tongva tribe? Why? Why has she not made a call to him and said, hey, listen, and she's worth $50 million, so $14 million's dropping bucket. So she can just go, hey, you know what? I'm living on stolen ground. So I'm going to move to some, other country where it wasn't stolen, and I'm going to give you this because it's stolen. I stole it. But she hasn't. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, if I honestly believed that I lived on stolen ground, if I found out, tomorrow that somehow I'd stolen my house, I'd give it back. Not her, though. All right, let's go to the next one. Hope. This is hope right here. This is hope. Kind of a long video, a little over 3 minutes, but I got to show it to you. It's Harry Enton from CNN. CNN's polling expert drops on-air warning for Democrats. Play for me.
Today, I wanted to take a look at some long-term population trends that really should set off a flashing red siren to Democrats nationwide while bringing a big smile to the faces of Republicans nationwide. Why do I say that? Because take a look at the big population gainers versus the last census back in 2020. According to the latest population estimates that take into account the population mid-2025, look at this. The biggest population growth this decade? All 5 of the states that Donald John Trump won in 2024. Texas, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, and of course the great state of Arizona where I spent my New Year's Eve. I love those folks out in Prescott, Arizona. These were the biggest gainers in terms of population compared to the 2020 census. Now, it's not just a red state boom. This is what we're looking at. We're looking at a red state boom here, but it is not just a red state boom. We're also looking at what I would dare call a blue state depression, because who are the people? Who and where are the people moving from into the red states? Well, they're blue states. They're blue states. Take a look here. The lowest domestic net migration this decade. All 5 of the states that were won by Kamala Harris in 2024. Look at this. California, Harris's home state. New York, where I'm coming from right now, of course. Illinois, New Jersey, and of course, the great Commonwealth of Massachusetts, which is a bastion of blue liberalism. These are the states that folks in the United States are moving away from and into the red states, which is propelling a red state boom. Now, this is interesting, right? But it could also have major political ramifications if it holds for 2030, the next census. Because take a look here. If, in fact, the 2025 population shifts hold for the 2030 census, look at this. Look at the House seat shifts by state. Remember, of course, we apportion the number of House seats depending on the population in each state. If, in fact, the 2025 population shifts hold for 2030, states that Kamala Harris won, they would lose 7 seats in the United States House of Representatives. The states that Donald Trump won in 2024, they would gain 7 seats. Now, this isn't just about the House of Representatives, right? It's also about the Electoral College, because the number of electoral votes that each state gets is equal to the number of senators. Each state, of course, has 2, plus the number of House seats that they have. So what would this mean for the House of Representatives? Well, if you remember back in 2024, right, it was all about, we were talking about the blue wall. If Kamala Harris could win the baseline Democratic states and then add in the blue wall states of Michigan, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, she would get to 270 electoral votes. But if all of a sudden we, in fact, have applying the 2025 estimates, the population estimates, to the Electoral College, the blue states, plus the blue wall of Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin would no longer be enough. Under the current estimates, you get to exactly 270 electoral votes, the minimum needed to win the Electoral College. If, in fact, you apply the 2025 estimates, look at that. You would only get to 263 electoral votes if you were a Democrat, which would mean a Republican victory. Now, of course, we're still a number of years away from reapportionment, right? We take the census come 2030. But what we can say so far is we got a red state boom going on, a blue state depression going on, people moving from the blue states to the red states. And if it holds for 2030, well, it would make the Democratic nominee for president's job of winning the Electoral College that much more difficult.
That's a big deal right there. And it's not that far away. We're talking about 2030, and that's where it all could change. So you look at the losers and the gainers. Of course, the losers being New York, California, Massachusetts, Illinois, and New Jersey. Gainers being Texas, Florida, North Carolina. What's the one I'm missing? Arizona.
And Georgia.
Georgia. That's it. I couldn't read my own writing. Georgia. There we go. Thank you, buddy. So those are the big winners. And you look at who are the leaders of the losers. New York's Hochul, California's Newscomb, Massachusetts is Healy, Illinois is Pritzker, and then New Jersey is Mickey Sherrill. There you go. And here's one of the great things about it. First of all, apportionment, which comes, I think you said in 2030, after the census. So apportionment would come after the census, 2030. And if it stays, the trend stay as is, then we gain 7 seats. They lose 7 seats. So that's a good thing. And the other big thing is we've been held captive by this blue wall and had to lick boots and kiss butts for the blue wall for many, many years. If this trend stays the same, which by the way it's going to, because what do all those 5 governors, Pritzker, Hochul, Newscomb, you got Spanberger now in Virginia, that could actually end up going away. Healy, Massachusetts, Sherrill, New Jersey. What do all of them, first of all, what do they all believe in? Sanctuary states, sanctuary cities. They all are anti-ICE, anti-deportations. And there was another huge poll put out, I believe today, that 52% of Americans now believe that every illegal should be deported, not just criminal illegals. And again, I know, please don't fossil fuel me this and all this stuff nitpick my speech. I know every illegal is illegal, and I believe every illegal alien should be deported. But of course, they mince the words to muddy the waters, so we're not going to let that happen. But not just criminals, people who committed a subsequent crime after committing the initial crime of coming into the country illegally. Not just criminal illegals being deported, but every illegal being deported. 52% of Americans now believe that. So all of these leftist governors are all standing in direct opposition to that polling data. That's great. And many of their people are leaving. This will then take down the blue wall, takes down the importance of it, because basically if the Democrats win the blue wall, I don't know if I'll remember this, all the states or not, but we got Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. What is the blue wall? I know it's Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. I'm missing a big
Michigan.
one. Michigan. Thank you, Aaron. Gosh, dog. So the blue wall will no longer, we always want to win it. But even if they win them all, they get 2 seats. So how does that work? I never understood the math until it was explained by Harry Anton. So the blue wall was always, if the Democrats win every traditional blue state and the blue wall, they win every time, right? It's just like Donald Trump. Nobody's ever lost a presidential election, a Republican who won Ohio, until Donald Trump mysteriously lost in 2020 and won all the bellwether counties too, but somehow lost anyway because Joe Biden got 84 million votes. Amazing, isn't it? But anyway, I digress. But anyway, so what will happen is if they get all the traditionally blue states, they get the Californias and they get their Oregons and they get their Washingtons and they get their Connecticut's and Massachusetts and all those. It doesn't matter if they then what it always comes down to is the blue wall, which they almost always win until Donald J. Trump came around. And if they win that blue wall, it's over. They break the 270 electoral college number. That's all you need. Well, now they can win all the blue states they want and the blue wall, and they only get to 263, which means they'd have to win Florida, Ohio. Good luck with that. Good luck. Because I can flat out tell you, I know Ohio people. My family's from Ohio. Ohio is going to get redder and redder and redder as the new, and here's the thing, how much you want to bet there will be a massive groundswell in Ohio towards Columbus to start extricating those Somalians who are on the government teat out of the country also. And here's the thing, there won't be nearly the resistance in Ohio as there is in Minneapolis. So when they go from the largest Somali population in Minnesota to the second or third largest population in Columbus, Ohio, you won't see the resistance. And you can pretty much guarantee, and by the way, that'll take another block of voters, the voters, out of the state of Ohio, and they will never win. And that's exactly what we don't want competition. We want them to be destroyed. That's it. Speaking of that, let me cover this one. Gunther Eagleman video. Another member of the squad has just been exposed after her financial records showed a massive inflation of her wealth. Play for me.
It looks like Ilhan Omar isn't the only millionaire squad member. Now, our team dug into open secrets and financial disclosure reports. What we found is that when Ayanna Pressley was elected to Congress back in 2018, she had a negative net worth. You fast forward to today, she's worth $1.3 million with assets worth up to $8 million. Now, that's a massive increase in just 6 years, especially for someone on a $174,000 congressional salary. It's impressive, really, but how did she do it? Well, part of its property in 2024, Pressley reported owning a Martha's Vineyard rental worth up to $5 million, as well as multiple Boston rentals worth up to $1 million each. Now, for context, back in 2019, she only reported owning one property in Boston. We're also learning days before Pressley was sworn into Congress, her husband quit his $92,000 annual Boston City Hall job to start his own consulting firm called Conan Harris and Associates. And as we read more of the Congresswoman's financial disclosure reports, we learn that her husband also saw his income jump while he was in Washington. His client list consists of some government organizations, including one with deep ties to the Obama Foundation. But as he started his firm and seeked new clients, he faced ethics concerns because of Pressley's job in Congress. Quote, as Harris's days dwindled in the city's Office of Public Safety, he used his city-issued email account to pitch Walsh's chief of staff on staying on as a consultant. City officials say they did not solicit nor accept the offer, and state ethics laws bar municipal employees from knowingly using official resources for personal gain. Now, we asked Pressley for comment, and we even invited her on. She did not answer. But Fox Business anchor David Asman joins me now. He's been looking over this information. And David, there's nothing wrong with gaining financial resources. We see this a lot in Congress, but there are questions.
Yeah, there's big questions. I mean, you simply look at the numbers. By the way, there's no question here. I mean, the question you use terms like there's questions behind it because you need to launch an investigation. But there's absolutely no questions about the numbers. It is impossible. It is absolutely impossible for this to occur. I mean, show me all you have to, you're like, Tom, it's not technically impossible. Okay, it's not technically impossible. Then show me how you got there. And Aaron picked up on it. Her husband became a consultant like Hunter Biden. Hunter and Joe fly over to Beijing in 2014 and secure $1.4 billion from Chinese-controlled banks for Hunter Biden's consultancy fees, because he's an expert in banking, as a crack-smoking Russian whore chaser, but he's somehow a financial expert. But anyway, so how does this happen? Ilhan Omar style here. Ilhan Omar came in at minus $65,000 and is now worth $30 million, and we've already gone into detail about her winery that she claimed $5 million worth of income on in 2025, and the winery doesn't exist. But yet she still doesn't have handcuffs on. I haven't read a federal indictment. Nothing. Where's Cash? Where is he? He's on the FBI jet flying to his girlfriend's concert. Where is he? I'm just curious, because there's no way this happens. And if all of us are wondering how it is that we are so corrupt, you can always go right back to the Bible. For the love of money is the root of all evil. People will whore themselves out for it. And that's exactly what Ayanna Pressley does. It's two members of the squad down. And by the way, there was already more than one investigation in AOC's finances. And that somebody needs to do a deep dive in those finances also. All right, 10-13, that's good. All right, well, we got any rants tonight, Aaron?
Yep.
All right, hit me up.
Yep.
Nated Dad 1 donated $50. Great service for me this week, crew, and amazing music. Grateful for his gift to you all.
Thank you so much, Nate Dad. Thank you for the big rant, man. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate the positive feedback, and our worship team is freaking awesome here at the church. All right, go next for me.
Joel's 21 hours ago donated $10. Thank you, Pastor Tom, for putting Bible verses in action with what we're seeing every day. It really helps understanding with what we're supposed to do in Jesus' name.
Amen. That's it. Memorize the Bible, memorize as many Bible verses as you can, and they'll float right into your mind at the moment of need. All right, what we got next?
Perry Richard, 49, donated $5. Good evening, TLP family.
Right back to you, Perry Richard. Appreciate it. Appreciate the rant so much. Got another one?
Dave Souders donated $5. Sitting here surfing the nuance in North Garrigate. Thanks, guys, for all you do.
In North Georgia. That's, surfing at what's the temperature in North Georgia right now?
I don't even
Can somebody
know.
find me Atlanta? What's it like in Atlanta right now? That's got to be cold because, man, it's cold here. It usually, listen, 35 in Atlanta right now. It's 42 when I drove into the podcast here. 42. Man, that's freezing.
Yeah.
Man, that's freezing. And Brent, as I picked on him 2 Sundays ago, man, he hates the cold now. He's from Cincinnati, but now he hates the cold, like with a passion. He's like literally offended by the cold. He's offended by it. Offended by it.
Gross.
He hates it. He hates it. It's like, kind of a novelty for me, but I have to be honest with you though, it's getting a little old.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm
Ready for
cold.
107
I'm
again.
like
Come
freaking
on.
cold, man. But anyway, because here's the thing, I'm used to an easy life. I come to the podcast in shorts and a t-shirt. Shorts and a t-shirt. I'm not wearing any shoes right now. I just don't. I wore my heavy gun. I call it the big gun. Brought out the big gun. This is my big gun right here.
Fully slined, yeah.
Yeah, look at that thing. And here's the thing. I look like I'm 6 months pregnant when I'm wearing it because inside, got my hat.
Oh my gosh.
Got my other hat.
It's for walking.
I wear one hat because I can pull it all the way through and it covers my neck. And then, of course, I got my gloves. So, that's the thing. But, it's for us here, man, it is cold. It is cold here. And it's like usually what happens in the state of Florida is it gets cold like for 2-3 days. And you get like you get a little cold snap, and then you get the reprieve, and then it gets cold, and then it's all novelty all the time. Now, Brent always hates it, but like for me, then I'm like, oh, good, cold again. And it's cold for like 2.5 days. You're like, hey, 48, yay. And that's 30 freaking 1. Okay, it's cold. All right. And here's the problem is we aren't even out of the 40s until like next Thursday.
Yeah. Sucks.
It's cold, man. And I know all of you up north watching this going, you bunch of pansies. We agree. We're pansies. We're used to an easy life. We don't de-ice our vehicles. We don't have to do any of that stuff, man. But anyway, so I feel bad for you up there in Georgia at 35 degrees. Go next for me.
N. Johns 127 donated $5. Pastor Tom, can you give us your take on Julie Green and her take on JD? Thank you.
I don't know who that is. Do you?
She's like a prophetess.
Oh, I have no idea who Julie Green is. No idea. I'm the worst one in the world to ask about Christian culture. Stop laughing, Aaron. Because honestly, I don't know who anybody is because I'm not saying Julie Green does. I don't know who she is. My own orbit, which is the Rodney Howard Brown orbit, the people involved there, Jonathan Shuttlesworth. Of course, I love like Arthur Pulaski, people like that. I know some there. I know big names. I like the people. I love Andrew Womack. I love Jesse Duplantis. Okay. But most preachers and most churches suck.
True.
They just do. They're cowards. They won't preach the gospel because if they do, they'll lose half their congregation. That's the simplest way to say it. They will not do what Jesus did in John 6:53-67. They will not. I'm not talking about Julie Green. Is that her name?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not talking about her at all. I have no idea what her viewpoints are. I'll tell you what. If it's any sort of prophecy about a political figure, you need to be real careful because the body of Christ went pretty much over when it came for prophesying about Donald Trump. What was the big name one, Aaron? The guy who prophesied that he'd be a 2-termer.
Yeah, let me say. I can't remember his name.
It's like everybody. You guys all know. If you know it, throw it in the chat. The big name guy. He's no longer alive, but he preached it. Gosh, I forgot his name.
Kim Clement.
Yeah, Kim. And I was going to say Cam. I knew that was wrong. Yeah. But Kim Clement was right because he predicted. I don't know if he predicted. He never said subsequent terms.
Nope.
So he was right, but other people predicted. Basically, many prophets said that Donald Trump was going to win 2020.
Yeah.
And they're falling back. Some of them fall back and say he did win 2020, which is correct. But
they said he'd be in the White House.
But he'd be in the White House,
Yeah.
so you lost.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just the way that it is.
And
But
Kim
anyway.
Clement did that in 2007.
Yeah.
Way before.
Yeah, before anybody even knew Donald Trump would be on the presidential stage. But
Yeah.
no, I have no idea who it is. I'm terrible to ask about that stuff. I really am. You'd be really, really lucky if I've ever heard of anybody, because I don't pay too much attention, because everybody preaches boring crap. It really is. Everything is all the same. And I can't even imitate it because I don't listen to it anymore, because it's all basically, kumbaya, basically the living, the sermon is a living embodiment of a Barney song. I'm okay, you're okay. I mean, okay, it
is.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. And they never work a nerve. They never call out sin. They never correct, for the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, of the joints and marrows, and is a discerner of thoughts and intents of the heart. They don't do any of that. Hebrews 4:12. They don't do any of it. There's nothing. It's just basically it's all about, you know what? We can all try a little harder. We can all do a little better. If we can all criticize just a little bit less and focus on our own inadequacies. You know what? We should be able to say the hard thing. I'm specifically targeting somebody. We should be able to say the hard things in church. You know what? We're going to say the hard things in church. You know what? And our church needs to be able to handle the hard things, and they never do it.
Yeah.
And they never will do it, because they're fearing people. For do I now persuade men, or do I seek to please men? For if I still please men, I will not be a bondservant of God. For do I now persuade men or God, or do I seek to please men? Let me say it right. Galatians 1:10. For if I still please men, I will not be a bondservant of Christ. So if you are a pastor that it even rolls into your head, you know what? Will this offend any member of my congregation? Okay, I'll take that back, because it's going to roll into everybody's head. But if you allow that to determine what you said, you should resign.
Yeah. Yep.
You should resign. You have got to preach what? 2 Timothy 4:2, the word. Instantly, in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort, with all long suffering and doctrine. Long suffering may mean watching your church shrink. Aaron and I did.
Yeah.
There weren't a whole lot of people coming to Foundation Church in early 2020. There were not a whole lot of people coming. So, there wasn't a whole lot of people. This wasn't a huge church anyway, 150 to 200 people. But then you got like 60 leave. Woof.
Yeah.
Okay. And because they're all virtuous COVID cavers, they're all staying at home for the cause, alone together alone, because we're Christians, so we're all going to run from a sickness.
We're going to close our healing rooms.
Yeah, we had a ministry around here called Healing Rooms, and they closed it for COVID.
We'll heal your cancer, but not COVID. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they can handle anything but COVID. Truly amazing. All right, do we got any more?
We got two more.
Two more.
Trollonomics donated $10. Yo, Tom,
Trollonomics, that's new.
my dad and I met you at your church yesterday. Appreciate the free merch. You the man.
Trollonomics, man. That's a great name. Great meeting you guys. Law enforcement connection. Love you guys. Thank you so much for making your way down here. I know it wasn't easy. Thank you guys so much for coming down, man. That really means a lot to me when I meet you guys from out of town. That really does mean a lot. It's not like this is a huge podcast. It's great. We've got 586 people watching. People would kill for that. But, meeting you guys when you actually come to the church, because I do. I stand out there, and anybody who wants to shake hands, I'll shake their hand. And but it's great meeting people from the podcast. Really do. That's a great name too. Trollonomics. That's cool.
Yeah. Last one.
Mike Griffith donated $10. Thanks for video. Jerry has a GiveSendGo link on my X at mgriff7072. My name like here.
Now you guys screenshot that and set, if you feel so led, send that to Jerry, the veteran that was knocked over by the Antifa goon. What a jerk. All right, that's it. Love you guys. Stick around for the post game. It'll be here in about 10 seconds from right here. Back here tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. As always, love you guys. Love you. Appreciate you. Really do. God bless you.
Hello to our 5 CNN viewers. I'm Jake Tapper, First Order Fact Checker. We begin tonight with a disturbing report out of the Yavin sector. Intelligence officials are telling us that the terrorist group known as the Rebel Alliance, a fringe coalition of religious extremists and smugglers, has launched a cowardly, unprovoked attack on the peaceful Death Star. Anonymous sources close to the Emperor tell CNN that this station was essentially a galactic housing project designed to bring affordable energy to the Outer Rim. Yet the radical rebel terrorists, led by the disgraced former senator and known white supremacist Princess Leia Organa, falsely claim it was a weapon. We are now joined by our chief imperial correspondent, Anderson Trooper. Anderson, what are you hearing from the core worlds?
The mood here is one of shock and outrage. Jake, I've spoken to several anonymous sources within the Imperial Senate who confirmed that Lord Vader was actually on a diplomatic humanitarian mission when his ship was aggressively boarded by these rebels. There is a lot of disinformation spreading right now. You have conspiracy theorists claiming the Empire destroyed Alderaan, but our fact checkers have debunked this. The official report clearly states Alderaan suffered a spontaneous planetary mining accident caused by rebel negligence. To suggest the Empire fired upon it is just baseless anti-government conspiracy theory.
Absolutely debased. And we're seeing reports about the ringleader of this latest attack, a radicalized white farm boy named Luke Skywalker. What do we know about him?
It's a terrifying profile, Jake. Skywalker appears to have been indoctrinated by a fanatical zealot named Obi-Wan Kenobi, a member of the outlawed racist Jedi religious cult. Experts say this Force religion is extremely dangerous, teaching young men to reject science and order in favor of ancient weapons and violence. Skywalker was seen associating with Han Solo, a convicted felon, smuggler, and tax evader who has been known to shoot first. These are not freedom fighters, Jake. They are violent deplorables who hate democracy.
Truly shameful. And finally, Emperor Palpatine reassured the galaxy today that absolute power is actually very freeing, and that any suggestion he's a Sith Lord is an outdated conspiracy theory pushed by people who don't even live on Coruscant. Up next, a panel of 6 Imperial Moffs explains why tax increases and government overreach is a good thing and will actually help you. CNN is sponsored by CNR Fleet Systems. Do your patriotic duty and help the Empire secure the galaxy. That's all for now. You're watching CNN, the most trusted name in Imperial-approved truth.
Hey people, all right, this is going out there for all of my Wisconsin people in the 8th Congressional District. Yeah, I'm Katrina DeVille. It's Tuesday. What do we got? It's about 20 after 4 in the PM. So if you don't know yet, I'm having my very first town hall tonight for Outagamie County. I'll be going around the district during my campaign and having town halls at locations in every county, and probably be coming back for a couple of times because, you know, as the momentum of my campaign builds, more people are going to hear about me, more people are going to want to know what I'm all about.
I'm here at the protest in San Juan Capistrano, and I can't stop crying because there's so many people here. There's so many people here. There are teenagers here. There are men here. There are so many people here. There's been a shift.
And our voices really do matter, and the people
This
matter.
is interesting.
And, fuck ICE is all I want to say. Sorry.
Brave and powerful.
Before
Listen to all
I
this.
say thanks to God, I'm gonna say eyes out.
Wow, brave and powerful.
We're not savage, we're not animals, we're not aliens, we are humans, and we are Americans.
What I want to make sure that I say is that everybody is so powerful in this room and in this room later.
Powerful.
And together we're stronger in numbers to speak against all the injustice going on in the world right now. So instead of letting it be just a couple few here and there, I hope everybody's inspired to join together as a community of artists and speak out against what's going on. And I'm going to leave this and say, fuck
So
ICE.
brave and powerful. A room separated from reality. Why didn't they call for the people in the Epstein files to be arrested and charged? You have elite level pedophiles that were involved in human trafficking, smuggling, torture, the rape of kids, absolutely disgusting things happening at the highest level of power. And instead of calling that out and saying, release all the files and arrest all those involved, that would have been a great message. I think most people would agree with that. Instead, they're saying, fuck law enforcement and no one's illegal. While they say that, if I went to that event and many more like me went into that event and we weren't thrown out, I bet you they'd have a problem with it. I bet you if a bunch of people went to that event, we said, we're all humans, no one's illegal, I wonder how quick they would be to complain and ask for us to be thrown out. I think everyone can see through the hypocrisy. I'd have much more respect for them if they called for those in the Epstein files to be arrested and charged, for the rest of the files to be released. But I think we know why they'll never do that. I think we know why they won't even mention it. Has Billie Eilish mentioned it once? Has anyone in that room mentioned it? I wonder why.
Are you pro-women's rights? Of course. Being pro-women's rights, who do you think is more for women's rights? The Trump administration or the Iranian regime?
I don't know. Don't really know anything about the Iranian regime, but I'm against Trump, so I guess I'll go Iranian regime if it's between the two.
What rights do we not have here as women?
Well, I'm sorry, I don't want to be in this anymore.
If you had to pick.
If I had to pick, like, gun to my head, shoot me, like, I don't.
Iran?
Yeah.
Iran is in the Middle East.
That's well, probably not the Trump. Bruh. Okay, if I had to pick, probably Iranian militarization. Like, Trump is just evil in so many ways, yeah.
Okay, so you think the Iranian regime is more pro-women's rights?
Yeah.
Big news, everybody. I've decided today to move into Billie Eilish's $6 million Malibu beachside mansion. She announced today at the Grammys that no human being is illegal on stolen land.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
So I'm going to be making the trip to America. I'm packing my bags right away, and I'm looking forward to just taking possession of her $6 million Malibu mansion. No human being is illegal, so I want to thank everybody who's believed in me on this journey. I really can't wait to move in. It's now my house. I want to thank Billie Eilish as well for her generosity. Thank you so much.
This podcast is all about. We talk about a lot of political things, but underneath all of that is the Bible. I am unapologetically 100% in favor of is the Bible. Jesus is the Word. There is no delineation. If the Bible says it, that's what Jesus is, and that's what Jesus believes. That's what this podcast is actually about, is to actually alert people to what is coming and what is our responsibility in the midst of it.